All right, so we finished up on this graph yesterday. So jumping down, these next ones are all going to be reflected graphs. So we'll look at that for a minute. 30. We've got f of x is equal to 1 minus 3 sine of x plus pi. So amplitude is what? 3. Amplitude is 3. It's always the number right in front of sine. Now, I'm going to rewrite this problem so that you see what's happening, because this 1 is actually our shift up. Okay, so I would recommend, if you have one like this, that you rewrite this as negative 3 sine of x plus pi plus 1 and do it over here like that, so that way you pay attention to the fact that it's going up and don't think that that's the amplitude. But the amplitude value is always the number directly in front of your sine or cosine function. Let's see, step 2 is period. So what is the period of this? 2 pi over 1. The number in front of here is a 1. So this is just 2 pi. Oh, I used the wrong color. So it's just 2 pi. The scale of it, that's not how you spell scale. Scale. How do I do the scale? Yep, so 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2. Let's see, step 4, is it shifted left or right?
Yes.
Left pi. And is it shifted up or down? Up 1. And is it reflected?
Yes.
Yes. So this one's reflected because of the negative here. So I'm going to set up my graph. All right, so when I do this, I would recommend you plot your reflected points all at the initial, and then we'll do the left and the up separately. So period is 2 pi. So I've got 2 pi there. Let's see, I'll go ahead and put them all in here. And since I know I'm going to have to shift everything left pi, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 on the left side as well. So negative pi over 2 and negative pi. Amplitude is 3. All right, sine normally starts where? Starts at 0. Okay, so it's still going to start at 0, but where does it normally go from there? Up. So it's reflected, so it's going to go down. So the reflected graph is going to be in green. So then it goes back up again, and back down. All right, so that is the reflected graph. Now, do y'all want me to do the next 2 things in 2 separate graphs, or do you want to see it done in one? One, okay. So, in blue, I'm going to do the final graph of all of this together. So I'm going to take each point, I'm going to shift it left pi, and then up 1. So this first point, it's going left pi, up 1, so it's now here. This one, left pi, up 1. This one, left pi, up 1. Whoa, come back. This one up here, left pi, up 1. Here, left pi, up 1. So this is the final graph. There is in blue. And I think I said it yesterday, but like if you want to use 2 separate colors to do your graphs, that's totally fine. Or like multiple colors to do your graphs, that's totally fine. Now cosine, if we have one that's reflected, because I'm going to give y'all one to try that's reflected on your own, and then we'll go over it together. For cosine, where does the cosine graph normally start?
1.
At 1. So if it's reflected, where is it going to start instead?
-1.
-1. Okay, so just for you to be aware of that. All right, so I want you to try this one on your own, and then we'll go over it. 32. F of x equals negative cosine of x plus pi over 2 minus 2. What is our amplitude for this graph? 1, what's the period? 2 pi. Scale? Pi over 2. And what about shifts? Left pi over 2. Anything else? Down 2. And what else is happening? And reflected. So, where is your... Well, I'll just put my graph up and you can make sure yours matches. So green is the initial reflected graph. And then blue is the final graph shifted left and down. And then notice on the edges here, I turned these so they look like they're kind of going back up, okay, because they do not keep going down. If you were to continue the curve out, it would continue going up and down and around, okay? So make sure you draw them so that they're like pointed in the direction that they would be going back up afterwards. All right, any questions on those ones? All right, we are not going to do graphing the tangent function this year. We're just going to stick with what we had done with 14.1. Just know next year we will have to graph tangent. But I'm just going to stick with what you had with the basics of being able to answer the questions about it from 14.1. The last ones, they give you information, and they tell you to basically write the equation of the graph, so like working the opposite way. So like 42, they say the graph of y equals cosine of 2 pi x translated down 4 units and left 3 units. So I want to write the modified graph. So I always start with what I had. So y equals cosine of 2 pi x. What does the down 4 do? Or like what would that look like being added to the equation? Minus 4. And then, and you can do it all in one, but I'm just working my way across. What does the left 3 do? So cosine of, we would put it in parentheses then, 2 pi x plus 3, left, opposite. Then minus 4 like that. And that would be your final thing for that. Let's see, one more of those. 46, y equals 1/2 sine of 6x translated down 3/2, right 1, and reflected. So how would I do this one? So y equals negative 1/2 parentheses minus 1 minus 3/2. So, see, you can do, I don't care if you do it all as one, that's totally fine. I just did the other one so you saw the steps happening, but. Any questions about those? All right, then problems. Um, 13, 17, 19, 29, 43, and 45.